Good morning, guys. You have your Chapter 11 test that is due today, but you also are going to start working on converting using the metric system. So the notes today are posted on Google Classroom. There are notes for you to fill in that talk about the metric system, but also the imperial system, which is what we use as far as like pounds and ounces and those types of things. So specifically talking about the metric system, we're gonna be out of the textbook for this chapter. It was really short in your book, so I just decided to give you guys notes this way, and then you'll have some practice that will be due tomorrow. So just wanted to show you real quick how to convert using the metric system. So I would go through the notes first and then go through the practice and watch this while you're doing the notes in the practices, so you have a little bit of better understanding. So if you look online, you will see that there are different ways that people have come up with a mnemonic device to memorize the metric system. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk is the one that we're going to use. It goes along with the notes that you guys have. It's also how I memorized it growing up. Some people also say King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. The unusually and the by either stand for the unit. The B just stands for the base unit. Either way that you want to memorize it or that you've memorized it previously is fine. But for today, we're going to use the one that is on the screen and the one that is in your notes. So this is what it stands for. So the king is kilo, Henry is hecto, died is deca. Then the by stands for base, and your base units that we're going to be talking about are meter, liter, and gram. I think those are all the ones that you guys have in your notes as well. And then drinking is deci, chocolate is centi, and then milk is milli. So just a quick other thing with this, I know there are two D's in this, and it can be difficult to mix them up. Just a way that I was taught to remember it was deca ends in an A and deci ends in an I. So because A comes before I in the alphabet, deca comes first in this. If that doesn't help you, forget that I just said that. But if it helps you remember that it's deca and then deci, I hope that helps you when it comes to writing this down and actually having to use this without having notes in front of you or looking it up online. So just really quick to the converting part in your notes, do a really good job of talking about this if you are actually looking at them. So you're really just moving along this to move the decimal point. So a couple examples that are up here. If I'm talking about 4.53 milliliters and converting it to liters, so my milliliters is going to start here, and then my liters is going to be where my base is, or the by in the saying. So I'm jumping 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left. So if I'm moving 3 spaces to the left along the, your notes are calling it the King Henry slider, but if you're moving along the metric system and doing it this way, so if I've moved 3 spaces there, I'm going to move my decimal 3 spaces. So I have 4.53. So if I move it 3 spaces to the left, I have 1, 2, 3. I would need to add 2 zeros in front of that, and then my decimal place would then move to the front. So changing this, it would now become 0.00453, and liters is a capital L. Make sure you guys pay attention to stuff like that. The reason if you use a lowercase l, it doesn't necessarily look like an L. It could look like a 1. So just make sure when you're using liters to capitalize it. Then the next one example that's on here, says 2,000 milligrams to grams. So again, I'm going from milligrams. Grams is also one of the main, or one of the bases. So again, I moved 3 spaces. So remember, in a number like 2,000, your decimal point is behind that number. It's the unknown. Think about if I write $2,000, I may just put 2,000, but there's really a decimal point and 2 zeros behind it, just as a way to think about it. So if I'm again moving, I moved 1, 2, 3 spaces. I'm going to move 3 right here. So this would just now be 2, or you can put 2.0 grams. Then I have 104 kilometers to meters. So meters is just in the middle. It would be millimeters if it was mm. So make sure you guys are paying attention to little things like that. So I have 104 kilometers, and I'm going to meters, which is again in the middle. So this time I moved 3 spaces as well, but I moved 3 spaces to the right. So this was similar to the 2,000. I have $104. My decimal point is behind it. And since I'm moving to the right, I'm also going to move my decimal point to the right. So I'm moving 3 spaces, and I'm really just adding 3 zeros. So 104 kilometers is 104,000. That's a zero, sorry, meters. And then my last one, I'm gonna erase some of this bottom stuff. My last one is 8 millimeters to centimeters. So millimeters is right here. And then I'm moving over 1 to the left, 2 centimeters. So I would now, from 8, my decimal is behind it, I would just move up 1, so it would be 0.8 or 0.8 centimeters. So if you guys are writing down, just my suggestion, when you go to do the Sum It Up page, on the top of it, I would write down kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, and milli. So you can kind of, you don't necessarily have to draw the line, but at least use your finger to move from milli, or just count them would be a helpful tip. If you're moving to the left, your decimal's moving to the left. If you're moving to the right, your decimal is moving to the right. So make sure you guys get that done. There is a section on comparing these in your homework that will be due tomorrow. Change just one of them. So for example, one of the first ones on there says 63 centimeters and you're comparing it to 6 meters. I would suggest just changing one of them. So if you want to change them both to centimeters or both to meters, don't just try to eyeball it and guess which one is greater or less than. Actually change one of them so they have the same unit. You can't compare centimeters to decimeters. You need to have both of them in centimeters or both of them in decimeters. So I hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Please let me know, and I hope you have a great Tuesday. Bye, guys.